Have you ever been in a situation where you find yourself earning more money than you typically would? Maybe you got more tips in a month, or maybe you got an inheritance, or maybe you got a bonus, and it went above the normal amount of money that you would make on a, let's say, a monthly basis. And you found so many different ways to spend that money. Maybe we went out to an expensive restaurant and you decided to get a nice hotel room for the night afterwards. And then the next day you found some things on Amazon that you've been wanting for a long time and you made those purchases. And the next thing you know, you're right back to where you normally are. That money, that extra money that you acquired, is no longer in existence. You found a way to spend it all and spend it all quickly, and now you're at what we call the financial thermostat that you have been set at for a long period of time. So what is this financial thermostat? Well, the financial thermostat is basically like the thermostat in your house that you would typically set the temperature to. Let's say a normal is 77 for your home. That is a norm. So no matter what happens, this thermostat is set so it gets to 77 if it's too cold, and if it gets too warm, your thermostat sets it at 77 if it gets too warm. It always stays at that certain level. You have a financial thermostat that operates the same exact way, and that is part of your habits and part of what is embedded in your subconscious. Your subconscious is always looking for a way to balance things out, but understanding what your beliefs are, understanding what is normal for you to expect on a monthly basis. And because that is what you expect, let's say you're making $3,000 a month. That is what you are normally expected to make. That is what you see in your bank account when you open the bank app or when you get your paychecks. There's a consistency there. So when there's something out of the norm and you didn't expect it and it doesn't feel familiar, your subconscious feels that, identifies it, and the financial thermostat that you are normally set at for what you feel like you are worth, what you feel like you are deserving of, and what you expect to be in your bank account is always going to maintain that level unless you change it. So even if more money comes in, you get those tips, you get the inheritance, somehow you acquire more money than typical on a monthly basis or even a weekly basis or even on a daily basis of what you normally spend, you find yourself sabotaging it and finding a way to spend it and getting yourself right back to what your financial thermostat, your internal belief system of what you feel like you are worth, what you expect, goes right back to normal. And it is absolutely annoying. And I'm here to tell you, you can change it. And this goes for a lot of different things. I, for one, am a person that my thermostat for my time is set at a certain time in the morning, and I've had to change it, and it was really difficult to do because I would try to wake up a little bit earlier because I didn't want to be late to work. I didn't want to get there on time. I wanted to get there early. And my internal belief system of who I was is I'm a person who is going to get there right on time, but like right on time. When I wanted to get there a little bit earlier so I could prepare for the day. But it was interesting that every time I would try and I would wake up even 15 minutes earlier, I would find a way to waste the time in the morning. I would find a way to look up my fantasy scores, and next thing I know, I've been doing it for 10 minutes, looking, fantasy football, the waiver wire, feeding the dogs, and then the next thing I know, like Coda's giving me this adorable look, and I gotta just start playing with her for 5 minutes. And I find a way to waste the additional time that I tried to acquire by waking up just a little bit earlier, and I go right back to my normal time thermostat. That time that I would typically leave, I find myself leaving at that time again, even though the intention was set to try to leave a little bit earlier. And it's like, how does this happen? Like, I set the intention, I saw it in my mind, I wanted to accomplish it, but yet somehow I still ended up leaving at the exact same time I normally would to get me either to work right on time or just a little bit later depending on traffic. And I want to do the right thing. I want to wake up early, and I'm sure you do too. But you find yourself sabotaging every single intention that you probably tried to set to make it a more of a better reality? Well, a lot of it comes down to our belief systems at the same time. And when I was talking earlier about your money thermostat or your financial thermostat, it's also what you feel you are worth, what you deserve to have. And, we get, if you are on an hourly and you're working for someone and you're going 9 to 5, you can't see a different way of acquiring more money than usual. So it's hard for you to envision there being any difference of a thermostat. But once you set a belief in your mind that you are worth more, that you are deserving of more, that God wants you to have this abundant life, and you accept that and you understand that, and you tell yourself, I am more than deserving to accept the financial freedom I deserve in this life, and you start changing your belief habits, it's pretty amazing how things will change in your life. And the same thing goes with time. The same thing goes with relationships. If you find yourself attracting and being with the same type of person, you have a certain identity set in your mind of who you are trying to attract, because that is your set thermostat, that identity of the person. And you're like, why do I keep attracting these jerks? Why do I keep attracting these people who don't appreciate me? You have an internal thermostat that your subconscious keeps acknowledging and is trying to get back to baseline unless you change it. So you're probably asking, like, how do I change this? Well, the first thing is having the awareness and the understanding that this is going on. A lot of times we just are like, why is this happening? And you just accept it, and you understand that, you set the identity that this is who you are. Have you ever heard that before, where you just say, well, I guess this is just who I am. I'm just this person who just runs late. I'm just this person who's only going to make this much. I'm only going to have the ability to make this much in my life because that's just who I am. That's my social status. That's how I've grown up, and it's always going to be this way. Yeah, that's the story that you have been telling yourself for such a long period of time, that your subconscious is starting to believe it. Your belief system has been adapted to the things that you say, and you need to be very careful of the things you say and the things that you truly believe about the identity of the person that you are. Proverbs 23:7 says, as a man thinketh in his heart, so he is. Whatever you think, whatever you believe about yourself, that is who you are until you change it, until you start providing yourself a new belief system, until you start providing yourself the affirmations needed and switching that belief system up. You will always find yourself sabotaging and getting right back to that thermostat level that you have set based on who you believe you are and what that belief is about the identity of the person that you see yourself as. So another example is I walk my dogs, every single night, basically, around this neighborhood. And I've been doing it for a very long time. And there are more rabbits down this one road that my dogs want to pull me down. And I keep telling myself, as I'm walking up to this street, that we're not going down the road. I got to go down the road right before it. If I am not paying attention to my thoughts and really paying attention to getting right to this street I need to turn down before the street I don't want to turn down, if I'm not conscious of it, if I'm not paying attention, and for some reason I start thinking about something else, or the dog is smelling something, I'm just sitting there waiting for her and we just keep walking, and I don't focus on making sure that I go down this right street. Do you know how many times I told myself I'm going to take the shortcut and I still end up down that road with all the rabbits? And I got two dogs pulling me in different directions. And I think to myself, how did that just happen? Like, just a couple minutes before I got to the street, I told myself I wasn't going to do it. But that is the programming in the subconscious. That is the programming of the habits that we have. And that is how easily we can miss out on opportunities if we don't pay attention and have the awareness of what is going on. You can be led right down the road you don't want to go if you aren't paying attention to your thoughts, to your beliefs, to your actions, to the things that you try to accomplish. It can happen that quickly, just like it does for me. Just like 2 minutes, as I see the street coming up, I will tell myself we're not going down that road. But in one split second, Something can not change my mind, but something can take my mind off of that thought. And, I'm trying to reel back in one of the dogs, or something is going on, and we just keep walking. Next thing I know, I'm ending up right on that street. It's that simple. And it happens to you guys as well in your everyday life. If you are not paying attention to what you are spending your money on, if you're not paying attention to the things that you are wasting time on, if you're not paying attention to the people that you are trying to attract in your life, you will attract the wrong things. You will waste time and you will waste your money. And this goes with numerous different circumstances of the things that you have in your life. And it's all about the change. So how do you make the change? The one is the awareness. Identify it's happening. Don't get frustrated by it. Just identify these things are happening. And I identify that and I understand that, because this is a belief that you want to not allow you to get frustrated by, because that's not something you want to do, because your brain is ultimately trying to keep you safe. It's trying to keep you in the norm. Even if that means keeping you stuck in the same things, it is only trying to keep you safe. So acknowledge it and understand that that is what's happening, but it doesn't need to stay that way. Start providing yourself new affirmations. Start providing yourself the acceptance that this is not who you are. You aren't a person who is always running late, or just getting somewhere on time, or always waking up later, or always, spending money on things you don't need. Like, you are worthy of having more. You are worthy of receiving. And that's the worthy of receiving also has to do with having gratitude for the things that you have. Have gratitude for the money that is in your account. Have gratitude for the penny that you find on the street. That goes a really, really long way. If you hear the squeaks, I apologize. That is the puppy having a very good time from the walk that she just had, from not going down the road with the rabbits, I might add. That I did a really good job tonight. But anyway, have new affirmations. Start telling yourself a new identity of a story of the person that you ultimately want to be. Instead of saying, I guess it's just the way this is, I guess I'm always just going to be a person who runs late, say, I'm a person who wakes up early. I'm a person who's well prepared. I'm a person who likes to get to work on time because I want to be prepared for the day. I want to do everything necessary to better myself and the people around me. I want to feel accomplished, and you start telling yourself a new story of an identity of the person that you want to be, not the identity of the person who's always stuck in relationships, attracting the wrong people and thinking, I guess that's what I deserve. This is who I am. This is how it's always going to be. No, it's not how it's always going to be. It's how it's going to be if you think it in your heart that that is who you are, then that is who you will be. So think in your heart. Believe deep down that you are the identity of a person who is worthy of attracting a partner that will see you for who you are, that will accept you for who you are, that will respect you, that will love you, that will want to do things that are aligned with your beliefs and your values. Start telling yourself these things, and I promise you'll be very surprised at what happens next. And this isn't just something that you do just one time and everything just magically changes. Just like a habit, just like the habits that were formed over this period of time that got your subconscious believing these habits, start doing it repetitiously. Do it every single day. Wake up in the morning and provide yourself the opportunity to start saying the good things about you, who you are. Start seeing yourself, even the night before, waking up early, being well prepared. Believe that it is already done. I think I wrote down Mark. Mark 11:24. Whatever you ask in prayer, believe that you have received it. Believe that whatever you ask God's help for, that ultimately He will provide. But you have to have faith, and you have to believe that you have the ability to change, and that change is coming, and that you can do the things that you ultimately want to accomplish without sabotaging yourself. The thermostats that you have set in your mind, the thermostats of the habits and the toxic trends that you have created in your life don't need to be there. You can absolutely change them. Have the awareness. Understand that you just need to tell yourself a new story every single day, and have the belief that that change is absolutely possible, because it is. I am living proof that once you change those habits, once you change your subconscious belief system, your whole world opens up, and you're much happier. You feel much more confident, and you don't have the same anxiety that you probably are having right now. And I promise you, this is absolutely going to help. So change your life, change your thermostat, have better control over your physiological homeostasis, the balance that you have in your life. So when your brain tries to keep you safe, it's keeping you safe in something that you have set that is positive, not something that you have created that keeps you stuck and doesn't allow you to actually be a better version of who you want to be in this life. I hope this video helps you guys, and I'll see you in the next one.